Coach Snow with CrossFit Iron Haven. I'm going to go over today how to read the whiteboard when you are here for your first class or even your 100th class or 500th class with us. So our whiteboard is going to show us the workout of the day. Some workouts or some days we're going to have 2 or more portions of workouts or 2 sections, and then other days you might only see one thing listed on the board. Today we have a part 1 and a part 2, and usually the coach will go over part 1 first, and then we usually break off and do part 1, and then we'll meet back at the board after we're done and go over part 2. So as you come into class, usually on the other side of this board we write a warm-up that's a little bit more specific. Usually the coach might go through some type of other body weight warm-up drills like some bow and bends or some knee to chest, fold over, before we move into these specific movements. Usually you'll follow the board. The coach will lead you through those things. Now moving on to the other side, everyone usually gathers around the board and then we go over part 1 or part 2, or if it's just one longer workout that's 30 minutes long, it's just only one thing. Today we have a weightlifting movement called the deadlift, and specifically we're using a fatter bar, stubbier bar than normal. And when you look on your app on the phone, you're gonna see a tag underneath that workout correlated with this that's gonna show you your current level. So once you've done that onboarding and you have your color, for example, let's say your color is orange in the deadlift, you're gonna look at the colors we have here and you're gonna correlate that consideration to what we have on the board. So if we're working on deadlifts, your tag should show deadlift level, and you're gonna pick the orange rep scheme. Now on our board we have white, yellow, orange, blue through purple and brown, and our board is gonna show a green marker instead just because it's more legible. We don't have a yellow marker. We've tried that, doesn't work. So we have a white open circle for white and a filled in green circle for yellow. Then we have orange, blue, purple. If purple plus is doing the same, we just put purple plus and abbreviate that. So usually the higher rep schemes correlate with the earlier levels because you're working on developing more reps. And our blue levels are moving into sets of 4, and our purples are moving down to sets of 2. So the way that you would read this, we have 15 minutes to complete it, and usually for something like this, the coach demos the movements and then sets a clock for 15 minutes, and everyone kind of free form does their own thing for 15 minutes with the guidance of the coach walking around the room. This means that there are 5 total sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first set you're doing 10 deadlifts. The second set you're doing 8 deadlifts. Then you're doing 6 deadlifts, then 6 again, and then 6 again. Sometimes there are more sets. Sometimes it will just say you have 8 sets total, and other times it might say something like on the minute, where every minute you're doing a set number of reps. Then the coach will usually gather everyone else after that 15 minutes is done and go over part 2. So there's usually a title of a workout. We try to be really clever with these titles. Today's workout is a interval workout where there's 40 seconds of work and 20 seconds of rest. Every workout's gonna be a little different. Sometimes the workout is just, we call an AMRAP, or as many rounds as possible, for 12 minutes. Today it's specifically work and rest, and we'll alternate stations. So you'll see in black or some main color the skeleton of the workouts. So what everyone basically is doing from a bird's eye view, and then you'll see the color breakdown over on this side. We have our structure of the workout. Everyone is doing, for the first station, kettlebell swings or snatches, and then everyone for the next station is doing box step-ups or box jumps for 6 rounds. And then over here you're going to see the different breakdowns per level. So if you are a white level, which is the white circle, Russian kettlebell swing, so we tend to abbreviate things. Feel free to ask if you're not sure what the abbreviation means. The weights here will show a male and female designation. So if you see a slash, it usually means men's on the left and women's on the right. So this is the pounds for the kettlebell, 26 pounds for the men, 15 pounds for the women. And then we have low box step-ups, and those correlate with those 2 things here. And then moving into yellow, now we switch the movement and it's a 1-arm kettlebell swing. So you can see the structure is the same, but the movements slightly vary based on the level. We have our men's and women's weight, 35 and 18, and then we have our box step up. And in this case, it's the height of the box changes for the gender. So we have male and then female. Then moving into different colors, we have orange, blue, purple, up through our advanced levels. And you'll see that depending on the level, the movement may change. So now we have box jumps. We have a higher box here, 24-20 inches for blue. And then in a lot of cases, sometimes our black and brown levels are doing something very similar, but you'll just see maybe the change in weights or the change in movements too with kettlebell snatch. A question we often get is, what if I am in one color level for one movement and another color level for another one? So for example, for today, if we have kettlebell and then API as our two levels, what if you are purple in the kettlebell, you have a really strong kettlebell swing, but maybe you can only do box step ups, so your API would be in orange. So what you can do is mix and match based on where you're at to customize the workout for you. So you can look at the orange variant today, which is either box jumps at a lower height of 16 inches, or perhaps even go down to a yellow if you feel that box jumps are not for you today. So you don't have to stick directly with the lowest common denominator. You're gonna pick the variant that's gonna work best for you. And then you can look over at purple for the kettlebell, because if your kettlebell strength is a lot higher, then you could definitely qualify for doing kettlebell snatches. So you could do kettlebell snatches at 44-26, and then also box step-ups or box jumps. So you feel free to mix and match your levels as it works, just to make sure that you're challenged, but also not doing way more or way less than you feel like you can do. Feel free again to ask any questions, especially if you're a bit newer and not sure what some of the abbreviations, some of the acronyms might mean. It does take a while to remember a lot of these things. Even after a few years, we still have members asking questions. So hopefully this gives you a better idea of how to read the whiteboard and what it means.